Zappi throwing, caught, Henry, touchdown. Whoa. Porter almost had the pick, and the kick is going to be blocked. Miles Killebrew, their special teams maven, gets in there. The two going deep, going for it all, and incomplete. Intended for Johnson.
Blame Canada. You can. A go ball on 4th and 2. What an absurd ending to, frankly, an absurd game. The New England Patriots get the stop late and get the win, whether they want it or not, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers at the field formerly known as Heinz, 21-18, a win that both damages Pittsburgh's playoff hopes badly and damages the Patriots' chance at the number one pick. So maybe it's one of those weird, funky situations where a game ends and both fan bases are annoyed. Dan Hanzus here from my home. Marc Sessler there from his home. Mark, where to start? A strange game. Let's start here, though. They hit the over by halftime, but we didn't get much after that.
No, I mean, I guess they hit the over because we got the best half of football offensively that the Patriots have produced. Bailey Zappi, I don't like any of these quarterbacks, but Bailey Zappi, arrow up on Mac Jones. And I'm looking at a Steelers team that, if anything, they've been imperfect, but they've been resilient and they keep kind of eking out wins. But in a 5-day period, you've lost to the Arizona Cardinals, who were an apparition, essentially, in the National Football League. And tonight to a Patriots team that, despite allowing like 10 points or less in 3 straight games, had lost. Tonight, they win. And it's the Steelers, to me, are fading away. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that former first-round pick Mitchell Trubisky, amounts to 60 yards through the air in the first half. I mean, the offense that we thought 2 games ago in that clash with the Bengals had reawakened with 400-plus yards. 2 games in a row since, we have evidence that that's not the case. And whether they're a playoff team or not in a really weird AFC, they are very flawed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but I was less bullish about the Steelers coming off that 400-yard game just because we'd seen so much shellac to that before that, and I'm never totally on board with just putting everything on an offensive play caller because there's usually a lot more going on, like bad quarterback play and bad blocking and an inability for the wide receivers to make a play or show that they even care or want to be in the building, and Pittsburgh to. The 12-5 dream is over, obviously, Mark. And it's funny because a week ago we were talking about how they don't really look like a 12-5 team, but the schedule sets up so well for them, they might just get there. So to drop back-to-back games to 2-win teams over the course of 4 days, I guess it does this, Mark, because we've been talking about how the Steelers aren't really passing any of the smell tests throughout the season, and yet they kept winning. Well, now they've kind of been exposed, and with the schedule now tightening up, I think even though an NFL season isn't very long, even with the added game, just 17 games each, it does have a way of filtering out the pretenders and the contenders by the end of December into January, and I think that's what's happened to the Steelers here. And on the Patriots side, yeah, you get 3 touchdowns from Bailey Zappi in the first half. Some curious play calling, I thought, down the stretch in this game, including before that 4th down failure by the Steelers that basically ended the game. The Patriots just running the ball 3 times into the line, trying kind of to get a first down, but also trying to burn Pittsburgh timeouts. It's like you're 2-10. Like, don't be so conservative. Go and win the game. And then even when the next possession after, when Pittsburgh failed on that go ball, they are inside the Pittsburgh 40-yard line, and it's 4th and inches, and you send out the punter, and it's just like, oh my God, this is such a stupid game that we're watching, and it just refused to die. So I'm glad it's over. And Mark, I'm sure Greg is upset about it, and all the other Patriots fans, because they now also have put themselves in the position where they might not get that top 2 pick. This could be a very costly win for them.
Well, I think it was mentioned on our Thursday show that there's the world where if Belichick knows he's not going to be with the Patriots next year, we don't know if he knows that. We don't know what the situation is, but maybe you go Lovie Smith and you're not trying to like lose these games. And it's like, leave the next coach without the number 1 overall pick. I mean, this game though, I think it's pretty much on the nose when we predicted all week long that this would be a bit of a disaster. And it turns out to be. I think there just aren't really 7 real playoff teams in the AFC. And we very well might get the Steelers in the postseason. And they're a very incomplete team. And I would say the one on top of the loss, like I don't love like Alex Highsmith, who you've got TJ Watt, but Alex Highsmith has probably even arguably been the more productive pass rusher, leaves the game with a neck injury. There are just problems with this team. They're very incomplete. And to lose these 2 games the way they did, it's like these should have been the two opportunities that propel you and inflate your record beyond what you are and take you to that potential 11, 12 win scenario. And it's like, they're not that team. They're not going to do that. This is a Steelers team that's going to win about 10 games, 9 games, and float out of the playoffs if they even get there at all.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go near the playoffs. This is a team going in the wrong direction. And I did think, watching Mike Tomlin in this game that, he called them JV after the Cardinals game. And I wonder what he's thinking in this game. And you could just, the Acrisure fans in that building just going nuts, booing that offense out of the building in the first half. Because I think there was this like very quickly, because New England's offense was putting up points, surprisingly, it became clear that, whoa, this was supposed to be just like a 3.5 hour celebration here in Pittsburgh. And we were going to, move right along to 8-5 and be in great position going into the home stretch of the regular season. So it kind of turns into a nightmare. I should clarify, because I just said that the Pats put themselves in a tougher situation for that draft pick. Even with the win, they still hold the number 2 overall pick as action rolls on in the NFL on Sunday at 3-10. But so Carolina, which is actually the Bears' pick, they are in very good position, the Bears now, to get the number 1 overall pick for the 2nd straight year. They're 2 games up on everybody else. But what that win for the Patriots does, it moves them away from number 1, obviously, further. But also all these other 3 and 4 win teams now are right in the mix for a top 3 pick. You got Arizona, Washington, Chicago, New York, Tennessee, all with 4 wins right now. So that tightens up significantly. Anything else that jumped out to you in this game?
I just don't remember a season where within like a 1 week period, you had the fans in New Orleans, who are some of the greatest fans around and loyal to the end. Same goes with Pittsburgh, both raining down boos and catcalls and annoyances in their home stadium at their own team. I mean, that's the kind of year we're in a little bit. The other thing that comes to mind is whenever they show Cam Hayward, the monstrous defensive lineman for the Steelers, that Dan, when we did a broadcast boot camp with a number of NFL players, and he was one of them. And, we did a little, 10-minute how to do a podcast type class. And we're just us. And the class ended and, Darren Waller and a bunch of other people marched out of the room. But Cam Hayward came over to us, and he's about 6 foot 600. He's just giant. And he's like, "Hey guys, so how do you do a podcast? How do you come up with your episodes?" I was like,
that's a great Hayward.
But now he's doing I just saw him on Good Morning Football the other day. He's doing great. He does all this stuff. But it was just when it's weird to watch these players and be these are absolute athletic feats and gigantic men. And and he came over to us and just had this little tiny question for us. And you and I just stood there well, we'll see what we can do. And here we are doing a show.
Yeah, he was a really, really nice guy. I think I'm trying to think in our years working at NFL media, the biggest guy ever still for me was Chris Jenkins, the old Panthers and Jets D tackle. When he walked into the old newsroom in Culver City, I remember just being aghast that a human could be that large, and also he was super athletic. But I think he's number 2 on the list, and also was super nice. did the Thursday Night Football during the post-game show, and they're like saying, stay right here. We got Bailey Zappi coming up to the dais. I'm like, oh, boy. You have Tony Gonzalez saying they're trying to explain what's wrong with the Steelers. What happened to the Steelers? And Tony Gonzalez is saying the reason they didn't win this game is they don't have an alpha male on their team. Can we come back to us, Tony? I mean, you're one of the greatest tight ends that ever lived. You played football for your whole life. They don't need an alpha male. They need a quarterback. And it's like that is so much to do with their offensive struggles, is that inability to have somebody. And obviously Kenny Pickett is no great shakes, but Trubisky is just so inconsistent. And that's why it made it all the more puzzling with the game and potentially season on the line there at 4th and 2 near midfield. To throw a go ball there is so strange to me. And I know part of the problem is, and I think Mike Tomlin, obviously has a lot of work to do to try to get this season straightened out now. And if it doesn't work out, how do we make the team better? The running game once again disappeared here. They averaged less than 3 yards a carry on 28 rushes. And I know the one thing New England kind of has going for it is that the defense still plays with a sense of dignity and pride, and they have not been pushovers. But man, that is not Pittsburgh Steelers football in any way, shape, or form.
No, but I mean, New England has led the league in allowing the least amount of points over the past 3 weeks. It continued tonight. Their defense is legit. Like, Belichick is still coaching that up. But Pittsburgh has been running the ball consistently, and that went away tonight. And it's like Mitch Trubisky's not going to get you out of that. George Pickens vanished this evening, and I would so argue against the concept that they lack an alpha male on that team. I mean, what is T.J. Watt? What is Cam Hayward? They've got a bunch of them. They're just not a lot on offense. I think they're talking about
on offense. Just to be fair, I think he was talking about the offense. But even then, I think we're on the same page there. I
mean, I just think that we don't. That's just not the case. You're dealing with average quarterback play. You're dealing with a quarterback that gets injured every couple of weeks. It's all over the league. Like, we've got backup quarterbacks.
The way, an alpha male. I mean, that's what the NFL is just filled with. There's 500 alpha males. These guys are highly aggressive, physical marvels. These guys, that's not what they need. And whatever.
I'm with you.
But shout out to Zeke Elliott, who obviously stepped into a larger role here with Ramondre Stevenson out with the high ankle sprain. He has 140 total yards in this game and a touchdown. So that obviously helped the cause for New England in the first half. And his last run of note looked like it was a run for a first down in the last minute there to kill the rest of the clock. They challenged it, and they ended up moving it behind and put it to 3rd and short. And then, of course, they weren't able to make the first down, and they had the silly punt and all that. But I did like the shot, Mark, and this is a good way to end this because, we love us some Belichick in different ways. Bill pumping his right arm, first down on the sideline. So I don't know what's really going on in the old coach's mind right now. I know he's probably very embarrassed about, the state of New England Patriot football at this point, but don't say he doesn't want to win or he's checked out. Bill wanted that game badly. And I think to get a primetime win in Pittsburgh, it was kind of like a little taste of the old days, the Steelers who could never beat Belichick and Brady or hell, Bledsoe back in the day. And once again, with the Steelers desperately needing a win at Heinz Field, or the artist formerly known as Heinz Field, again, the Patriots somehow stick it to him. So I think Bill, it probably felt good, a little whiff of nostalgia there.
I'm with you. And he did it with he's got this fashion choice going on of late where you've got a winter bonnet on with a little ball on top kind of hanging sideways off his head. It kind of looks like a Christmas Eve drunk in a dive bar, but I think he's doing that on purpose too. But am I wrong? That look kind of throws me. I feel like it can't. Right, he has to be doing that intentionally.
He's he used to be a ski instructor a long time ago in the 80s. This is in a sleepy town in Vermont, a snow town. And now he's more in a managerial role, let's say. But he spends most of his time at the pub at the bottom of the ski slope. And that's where you could find Mr. Belichick these days. Like one of those vibes. Like he used to own this town, but now he's just a townie with the What did you call it? A bonnet with the ball on top?
I think I think that. I mean, we can explore further, but I think that's what you'd call that hat, like a winter bonnet with the little the bobble on top, and it's sort of hanging sideways. I don't know. Strange choice. I wouldn't walk around town with that outfit, but that's he's got a different agenda than I do.
You know what I'd like? I'd like to see Bill and Levi, your jacket. Probably have to size up a couple, but
yeah, I think he's not going to fit in my jacket.
I think it's time for Bill to kind of have a reinvention wherever he lands next. I know we're talking about it with Weish, and Steve was less bullish on the idea that people want Bill Belichick in the modern times in football if he was kind of a free agent, if you will, and B, whether he is that gung-ho about getting that record. I think Bill would die for that record. I get that feeling that he is going to find a way to get that record, and it's going to be one of the most important group of months in his life after this season's over and the end of the New England Patriots era, because I think this is his chance to kind of cement his legacy, and he has a big decision to make. I still think he'll have options, but we'll see. It is, by the way.
Someone's going to want him. I mean, I'm with you. Like that record, if he achieves it, look what had to happen for Bill Belichick to get there, how many eons it took. It may never be achieved again with the way that coaches are hired and fired so quickly now. So nab it, and maybe no one else on earth can ever achieve it again. So I'm with you.
All right, let's take a break. And when we get back, a very special guest. We'll hit one very odd news item, and then we will have a conversation with our very special guest. Stay right there. Oh, Mark, we don't usually use this on Thursday night. It must be special. Welcome back. Our next guest needs no introduction. She's on the Mount Rushmore of Around the NFL producers, now doing the damn thing with the Rams and beyond, quite frankly. Some call her Erica Tamposi. We know her as Ricky Hollywood.
Hey.
That's our girl. That's our girl.
That is music literally and figuratively to my ears.
Ricky.
Hi.
This is so nice.
This is so good to see you guys, to hear you guys. We got a cat call from Mark. We got a bonnet. We've got slope side from snow Vermont. Snowy. I mean, this is great. This is exactly what I needed.
Ricky, did I describe Belichick's hat correctly? I don't know what the name of that.
Yeah, I would just call it like a beanie with like a palm on it. But
yeah, Big Funk chimed in the comments, palm beanie, which I've never heard of.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call it that either. And calling Randy Big Funk, that's new to me.
Now it must be nerve-wracking, I would think, for Funk to have one of the legendary producers in the history of our show on right now. And people who know Erica and her history with ATN know Erica is a Patriots fan, born and raised in New England.
Yes.
And I was thinking, and we ended up getting a W for the Patriots tonight, which was not expected. But the way kind of the conversation I wanted to kind of get into with you to start was, what is it like as a millennial Patriots fan, right? Like, what is your earliest Patriot memory? Let's start there, just to let people have a little context. And there's obviously millions like you. Yeah,
no, it really, really is 2001, 2000. It was the millennium. No, I had an amazing 20 years with Brady. So it's. Did you say the millennium or the millennium? The millennium, right? What's a millennium? What's that? See, you're so young, you don't get the Will Smith joke. It was an album we put out around the time. It's all good. Listen, well, wait, what was on that one? Was that like Welcome to Miami? No, I think that was on Big Willie style. If I'm not mistaken. I think this one might have had Wild Wild West on it. Okay,
It's
well,
like-
I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah.
I mean,
See,
she's
I'm-
young, but Dan, you're so old. So there's.
Well, I was
those
going to
two
say,
things happening at the
I
same
qualify
time.
as a what they call a geriatric millennial, as a 1980 baby. Mark is your straight up baby boomer. So that we're covering
am
a lot
not
of.
No,
a
is
baby
Mark
boomer.
Boomer? I think he's Gen
No.
X.
Absolutely not. My parents are boomers. Like that is so.
I think you're Gen X. I think
I'm
it's
like
called.
on the edge of that too. Like I don't.
Well,
stop,
no.
let's
I
not
think you're
try
a
to put me into
geriatric
categories,
Xer.
first
I
of all.
think they call you guys.
That's what you say.
Ricky, anyway, what's it like? So somebody whose formative memories start with Tom Brady's first kind of beautiful run there in 2001, and for them to be in this situation where they are right now, arguably the worst team in the league, or certainly perhaps in the AFC, has it been really strange? And I know you're busy with the Rams, obviously, so how closely you're following, I'm curious about that too. But what's it been like the last couple of years, but especially this year?
This year has been horrible. Like, I woke up the weekend of the bye week for the Patriots, and I was like, oh, we probably lost this week too. I watch every game that I can. Most of them. I watch pretty much everyone, unfortunately. It's tough, it's hard. It's also hard to have a public sort of rooting interest now for my job too, which has been sort of
Tell me about it.
weird. It's been weird to maneuver that sort of aspect of things. But yeah, no, I'm still watching and hurting. And like one of my, best friends from home texted me right when the game ended, "We suck so much, we even suck at sucking when we need to suck." So that's what's going on in Pat's Nation here. So yeah.
I have a question for you.
that sums it up
are you
nicely.
ready to move on from Bill Belichick, Erica?
I feel for him. I think there's a lot of people, especially when Brady went and won the Super Bowl, that it's like it was Brady all along, but like all of the other weapons, like you said, talk about an alpha male. Like Bailey Zappi looks like should be in a third grade classroom. He's so little. And Mac Jones isn't it, but also just like the issues that the team has been shooting themselves in the foot with on like special teams even, and all of the penalties and it's such a disaster in every phase of this game right now that I'm like, I almost feel bad for Belichick and like would love for him to in a weird way like get another shot somewhere else.
And you know what? Well, somewhere else, obviously, that would be one way to do it. And I mean, listen, Vince Lombardi ended somewhere else, I believe, with the Redskins. Like, no, very rarely do you just end where your glory goes down. Part of me wants to say I'm surprised when I hear, and I know a lot of Patriots fans as well, because I went to school up in Boston, and everybody kind of wants Bill out, and everybody wants to flush the whole thing. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, how could you be so kind of cold-blooded? All the glory that guy gave you, but I'm also a Yankees fan, and I remember them coming for Joe Torre the same way back in the day to get him out of town once the championship started to dry up a little bit. Like that winning breeds like this need for more winning, and then when the losing starts, it's a really nasty thing. So it's kind of a tough, and nobody really is going to feel bad for Patriots or their fans, but it really is a tough come down to be high that long and then suddenly be this low.
Be at the floor, yeah.
Yeah, you're taking it very well, Eric, and it does not surprise me. That's just the woman that you are.
I feel for players more than I ever have, like especially, the past 2 seasons being so, involved with the Rams and seeing these guys every day and like what they actually like put themselves through, win or lose every week. Like, you hear those sort of cliches, like we just got to keep stacking building blocks but like they go back out and they keep showing up and they're just killing themselves to like play and also put, stuff on tape for them, for their careers and everything. And so to hear like these Steelers fans booing the team that first half, I'm sitting on my couch like, oh my God, but like they're trying so hard.
Oh,
like,
you're too close now.
Yeah, I'm like, but they're working so hard. And I was also like, screw the Pats. Like, come on. Like, you could get a franchise QB with that second overall pick, and then they're gonna blow that too.
Oh boy, Funk said he has something for Belichick from the post game. Let's check it out. Check it out on YouTube, everybody. That who did he just do that? He just celebrated like a cool guy.
He like dapped him up, but he looked really sad too.
It's a
like,
good night. It's a good night for Bill, and it's been a bad year. Mark, the floor is yours.
Well, Ricky, I would ask you a question. Outside of, with your Rams employment, you have told me some stories where you've been like in the coffee room and like there's a bunch of Rams players come in. Like, who is your favorite player to hang out with? Like, who's like the guy that we would be like surprised, maybe just like the coolest dude of them all?
And conversely, who sucks? Go ahead.
Yeah, like we
okay,
need,
so
need,
sucks.
Like,
I have a
both
top
ends.
10. No.
Yeah.
No one really sucks. There's some that are way more down to clown than the others. I know there's been so much talk about this Rams rookie class, but they are so fun and they haven't like been beaten down by the world and like agents haven't got their claws in them yet and stuff too. So like all the hype about like Kobe Turner, the conductor, is like the sweetest guy on planet Earth. So funny, like wants to do everything, is like singing around the corners and just like through the halls. And Puka is like the sweetest guy to ever step on planet Earth. And like it's so fun to see their innocence because they're just so excited to be here and they're not like beaten down yet. So like this rookie class it's been so much fun.
How much
is McVay cool to you? How about that?
Yeah, he's great. Yeah,
Like,
we
how
dap
much-
like me and him and Belichick, like in that video. We walk by and
Okay.
he's like, "Who is she?"
How often do you have like contact with them? Are you guys like in the commissary together? Like, how does this work?
Yeah, well, our corporate office for the Rams, we're moving to Woodland Hills at the end of this season, which will be, the whole new complex that they're building. But right now, the corporate office is separate from the facility. So my studio is at the facility. So some days when I'm at the practice facility, that's when I'll see the players. Or like Steve Avila, the center, not the center, the left guard that we drafted, like came into the corporate office just to like bring us donuts last week because he was just like, oh, well, where are they? Like, I want to like they're just so nice. Like, they're so nice. I can't say enough.
I have a question for you, Erica.
Yes.
You know us. You know
Very
us
well.
like nobody else. Nobody else in that building. Funk's starting to try to edge his way into the inner circle. He's doing a great job with it. But Erica was in deep. She was embedded. I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
That felt like vaguely confrontational with Randy. Randy, I love you.
I'm like, wait, where's this going?
I don't know. Erica, what if
Yeah, I'm so happy Greg's not here, of course. Why wouldn't I'm like, why would you even have to ask that? Like, this is my ideal show.
Greg included, what would the ATN guys be doing if they weren't NFL media employees / podcasters?
Yeah. So I was thinking about this earlier today, and it's so funny because like any odd random job that I would come up with, like Mark has already done. Like the text message of him like with a private investigator, with the crazy stories that you have. Like, I was like, it needs to be something eclectic, but also something like I kind of see Mark as like a park ranger who like 9 to 5 when he's done, like gets to just experience the wilderness in whichever way he chooses to do so. You know what I mean? Like, he's very much one of those park rangers that's like, hey kids, like you're drinking around a fire, like put it out. If you give me a beer, I'll let you keep it up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I see. Like underage drinking. Yeah. Mark,
yeah. Like he would just be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, give me that doobie, kid. That's what your age says.
Hand
right?
over the doobie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't.
That's what boomers
stop
say.
I wouldn't stop like the campfire drink fest. I'd probably find a way to like keep other rangers or various authority figures away from it.
Yeah, and we get like weird, ominous texts from Mark. Like, I was on a horseback, like searching Yellowstone, where like a young maiden was locked under a boulder, and I like helped her. Like, I just feel like that would happen. So that's my answer.
You know me.
That's you would be like the park ranger version of Amy Poehler's character in Mean Girls. It's like, hey, I'm the cool mom. You can drink around me, just don't go driving anywhere.
Yeah. Dan, I, for some reason, couldn't get you out of my head as like if you went the alternate route and was like sort of like a stockbroker in New York City, but not the one where as bad as you are at math, like the personality hire where it's like, oh, Dan, like he can't add for but he closes every deal because he's like you're like the closer. Like you would come and like Dan's like loosening his tie on Wall Street after the long day, and they're like, hey, I don't know how he does it, but like you bring Danny in there and he closes the deal. Like
it's like he's mentally challenged, but he is charismatic as hell.
yeah, he is. He can talk to anyone. We bring him in, we get their guard down low, and then he strikes. Like I don't know. I kind of see that.
I could say for you, Ricky, I think I could see you as being one of those people that, like one of those women that becomes a full-time reality star. And you end up as like you look 15 years later, you see a woman on some show, and then 15 years later, she's on some other show, and they're like, oh, wow. And then you check like her Wikipedia, and she's never stopped being on different reality shows, and she's fairly well known in the medium. I see you as like a high level difference maker,
professional
whenever
reality
like
star.
a reality program needs somebody that like kind of like the straw that stirs the drink, they dial up Ricky.
Yeah, I don't know if I take that as a compliment or a insult, but I think that's great. I think do I have all like the work done and everything too?
Yeah, ton of work. Lots
nice.
of Botox. Yeah, just kind of a
Nice.
mess, almost unrecognizable. I mean, in my defense, your description of my other life, I'm like wearing a helmet full time. So,
I mean, so is Mark. Greg, I think, would literally be coaching tennis like at like a random podunk town. Podunk? What's the word? Say?
yeah, podunk.
Yeah,
Interesting.
podunk.
Tennis coach.
I could see that. Like with Ricky, like one thing, I had the chance to go on like one of these like 2-day cruises, not too long ago. But like, what happens is like the cruise
In the middle of
director-
football season?
Well,
Erica,
no, it was like
Erica, like Mark is going on cruises like all the time now. And
No.
Greg and I are always like, he loves cruises so much, and he goes on cruises at odd times where the weather is bad, where he's going.
What?
He takes rickety old boats into like storms, and he enjoys it because he keeps doing it.
Well,
Wow.
hold on. Some of that is not accurate. I've been on 2 short ones. Like they are like 3-day
You've been
deals.
on 2 cruises
Yes, I went with some friends.
in
and,
the
like,
in the last how increment of time here?
But if you
Calendar
live in
year.
LA, they're very affordable. Like actually, you can find these deals where it's like they're super insanely affordable. But like, let me tell you something. Like on these ships, okay, they have like the cruise director who you think they're just like there as to like shake hands, but they're like singers and dancers, and they get up and do these shows in front of everyone. I was always like, I could see Erica being like this, where like you're just on this cruise like
Oh,
nonstop,
wow.
and you like.
no.
No, I think you'd be great at it. Like I could see it incorporating many aspects of your, versatile talent.
It's like,
base.
Erica, you didn't make it in show business. Here's life on an old boat.
Literally, yeah. Everyone that like can't make it as a comedian or a singer, they're like, yeah, but I got booked on Princess Cruises for the 6-month like contract.
Well, I see where you're coming from, but I found them to be the one that I encountered seemed to be a talented person. So
And in fairness,
That's
yes, a lot of
nice.
people, that's where they get their start.
yeah,
Yeah,
You're working,
and
you're getting
and if
paid.
you're a listener
Yeah.
right now and you work on a cruise ship, like I think that's a great life, and I would love that.
Wow, way to clean that one up.
yeah,
I would.
cover yourself.
I would, but I just don't understand how Mark's like going on multiple cruises. And I just saw you out, and we met up at a Star Wars bar, Mark and I, recently, and
None of that.
there was no talk of these cruise jaunts that you were going on. So it's like
Well,
a
there was
secret
so much else
underground,
to talk about. So
a cruise underground circuit going on here.
Yeah, you guys are sitting in the Spock booth. I mean, there's no time to talk about cruises.
it's a strange place that we met. There's no doubt about that.
4 seats in the Spock booth, please.
That's not how it actually. I mean, I would say it was a much more. It was not nerdy. I wouldn't say it was nerdy.
What do you
with
mean? They were like it was the nerdiest place I've ever been in my entire
Send
life.
Space
I
Raiders to 12.
By the way, like I got a text from Erica being like, "Have you heard of this bar called Scum and
'cause of-
Villainy?" That's what it's called. She's like, I'm like, yeah, I've heard of it. It's like up the street. She's like, come meet me there. I didn't like lure you in from the wilderness to this place. So
Yeah, it was.
Hey, Ricky, we got to get going soon, but how about like old times? We hit a news item before we.
Yeah. Something
And
light.
we should do a little Musso and Frank get together. How about
Yes.
that? Mark?
absolutely, yeah.
Cessdog kind of floated that, and I was saying, oh yeah,
Yeah, love that.
Yep.
I like
Very
the sound
soon.
of that. News item, and this one's
This
a doozy.
This is a jarring right turn for us at this point, by the way.
Yeah, that's fair to say. This broke about, I want to say, right as we were wrapping up our Thursday preview, which you could check out right now. Here is the headline out of ESPN. Bills coach Sean McDermott, apologized for 9/11 remarks in 2019. And here's the backstory here. And this was reported. This is a big scoop on the Tyler Dunn has his own blog or website called Go Long. And if you want to kind of support Tyler or learn more about this and do both, check out Go Long. But McDermott, back in 2019, told players in a speech to come together and use the terrorists on 9/11. And those that are not aware, multiple jetliners hijacked, and it was a group of Al-Qaeda members, highly coordinated, pulling off, one of the worst days in the history of this country. Anyway, used the terrorists on 9/11 as an example, asking players in the room questions about how the attacks were executed and referencing the hijackers getting on the same page. Multiple players who were with the team at the time confirmed the story to ESPN, while others who were there told ESPN they did not recall it. Here's Sean McDermott. So when this story resurfaced, thanks to Go Long, which I'm sure McDermott is thrilled about Tyler's project here, Go Long. He had a unscheduled news conference on Thursday. It lasted about 6 minutes. Here's a little bit of his explanation about what went down in that meeting.
Brought everybody together and said this was the goal, this was the intent, and I apologize if anyone whatsoever felt a certain type of way coming out of that meeting, right? That if anyone misinterpreted or didn't understand my message, I apologize. I didn't do a good enough job of communicating clearly the intent of my message, and that was about the importance of communication and that everyone needs to be on the same page, ironically enough. And so that was important to me then, and it still is now.
Okay, Erica. So, and by the way, that is something, that apology occurred that same day or in 2019 because he knew it didn't land the way he wanted to land. That is a crazy explanation even today, because he's still not apologizing or saying that was a dumb idea to ever kind of in any way lionize what those psychos did. Like what he said basically is like, they didn't quite understand what I was trying to get across. This is a bizarre story featuring a Bills head coach who's got his hands filled already with a 6-6 team.
Yeah, it's also 9/11 right now on the clock, which is really odd.
That's true.
As we're recording that, so that felt weird for a second. Wanted to call
All right, let's
that
just
out.
sign off.
Yeah, good night. No, that and just hearing that too, the sort of like, hey, sorry if anyone misinterpreted what I meant there. I was kind of covering my mouth watching that presser and some of those clips from that today. It was, I don't really know. I mean, you have to address it. You have to apologize, but I don't really know how you can justify that or walk that back whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely on that front. And I think, he's stuck in a place where there's no real explanation that anyone's going to sit well with. What Tyler Dunn has created in general, because there's a lot more to come with this report. And I think having met him, and I think he's been on our show once. He's an incredible reporter. And what he kind of unearthed about the Sean McDermott experience in Buffalo is news. It's incredible, because I think that you've looked at this coach, I have all along, as like they're a steady team. They've been in a Super Bowl window. If anything, he's been a positive the entire time. There have been not a lot of like Sean McDermott anecdotes that would shake you on it at all. If anything, he's sort of been out of the way. But what he started to create with this report is like, he is the problem. He spoke to, I think it was 25 different sources who went to town on what's happening with the Bills. And it kind of changes everything you think about what's happened and everything that's happening right now and what could happen if this season continues on its wayward trajectory. So, this just is sort of part and parcel of what else he reported. I mean, If you there is a paywall here, but I would say it is so worth reading. It's a pretty incredible, explosive NFL report. You don't get a lot of things like this these days.
And I guess, and obviously he made a mistake, and he thought it was ancient history. He came back, and we all make mistakes, so I'm not going to bury McDermott here. I will add, just as someone who grew up in the New York area, I grew up about 45 minutes outside New York City, and there's a lot of joking talk a lot on in the NFL about, well, there's only one New York team, and the Jets and Giants play in New Jersey, but the Bills are the New York team. Let me tell you something. If Sean McDermott said this stuff and he was the coach of the Giants or the Jets, he'd be out on his ass tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I think he would be done. That would be how big a story that would be. And if he wouldn't be done, it would have been a massive story. The fact that he's up in Western New York, it's a little bit different up there. And I hope he just moves forward, because it's an unfortunate situation and a bad idea that now is being amplified. So, but pretty wild story to just kind of stumble upon.
Just with everything this morning. Yeah, like all the news that was dropping out, and like just like the different college games and bowl. And then it's like, oh, also this 9/11 headline. I was like, what is happening?
Ricky.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in the news.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ricky, let's get some plugs out there. Where can they see Erica?
Yeah, anything Rams related on social, and then I host Ricky's Ram Jam, which is a once a week show, and I think also some of my game day stuff airs on KABC weekly as well too. If you're in the Rams LA area, if not, YouTube and social, check that out. It's some fun stuff.
Very nice. Mark, what do you got?
I am not featured on any Ram, centric content at this point, but I support the Rams. I appear on this show the same days that you appear on it for the most part. Yeah.
Very nice. All right, nice. Ricky, this was a great little treat for us. We wanted, and we told the listeners, I don't know if you're aware of this, Ricky, but we said, we know Thursday Night Football is not going to be a good one. But we're going to cook up something special to make sure you tune in. You're that special thing.
That's so nice. I miss you guys. I miss the fan base. I miss, working with you guys so closely. And I have checked in to listen to your guys' Rams recaps after the last 3 wins. So I have been peeking in here and there.
How about that? JB Long is feeling himself. I like it.
Yeah.
I think he said you know what? I see Long at the barbershop, Jags in Westchester here in LA. All the time. Well, not all the time. That'd be weird. But
yeah, like how often you cutting your hair?
Yeah. How would you ever see the same person at a barbershop more than once by chance?
Multiple times. Times I've seen good old JB.
You guys are synced up. And
he, we're on the same cycle.
Yeah.
He said to the crib in his call, which I was like, that's how you connect with the millennials. I like that.
Yeah, I feel everyone's like, oh yeah, the Ravens this coming weekend. Everyone's, oh, they're gonna get trounced and whatever. I don't know. I got a sneaky kind of like feeling. I don't know.
Do you? Well, give us a prediction.
We'll see. I think that it's one of those teams where the Ravens are looking as just like we can put the W column here. And I think sometimes those are the biggest games, any given Sunday.
Trap game.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like, I don't know, anything could happen. I would love to see a win this weekend. It would be amazing.
I'd get off the fence and make a pick.
Okay, the Rams are going to win this Sunday.
There you
Any
go.
given Sunday.
Oh,
and where was Lamar today? He just disappeared from practice. What's going on?
Maybe he was heading over to do Ricky's Ram Jam. You never know.
He's on. I got to go. We're going to record that, right? I've asked both of you to come on, and you're both too busy because you do 30 shows a week now or something?
No, you got me. You called me when I was on the East Coast, but I told you any other time, I'm in.
Okay.
I also want to appear. Like I do have a schedule that is complex, but I vow to appear soon.
Yeah, like are you going to be on a cruise?
Erica, we couldn't even get Sessdog at the ATN photo shoot organized by NFL Media yesterday. Couldn't even book him for that for Wednesday morning. It was just Greg and I posing in a room without the third guy. I don't know. some fakakta story about a dentist visit, and we're just like,
no,
oh,
it was
God.
not. It was absolutely dyed in the wool, accurate and factual, and you
were
cannot
at
live it down with this crowd. So
Yeah, no, I get it, Mark. It's tough. It is tough. I think that's why Park Ranger could be like a third third of your life, because you're
yeah,
out
you're
the,
onto something.
you're on the third of
Separated
it.
yourself, Mark. Just a solitary life in the woods might be the best thing at this point.
She's basically just put me into the final third of my existence. So
Not basically. I did say you were in the third.
All right, everybody, and enjoy your weekend. And remember, we are at NFL Plus. The Dreamatorium was open for business big time today. So the triple header on Thursday is complete. See you on Sunday night. Till then, keep the call. Bye, Rick.
Bye.